Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast and Podcast. I am your host, Sharifah Hardy, and we have an incredible show for you today. I am going to be speaking with a dear friend of mine. She's incredible, and she is definitely the truth. Dr. CJ Benkert. She is the clinical director of PuraVida Wellness. She has dedicated her life to educating and inspiring others to achieve optimal health and wellness through natural health care. Her personalized custom programs include coaching, support, and guidance in holistic weight loss and health transformations utilizing diet, nutrition, intermittent fasting, diet variation, ketosis, and detoxification. Now you can read and discover all about her program in her new book, The Diabetic Weight Loss Solution, and is being released today, February 22nd, 2022. What a beautiful day. All the numbers 22222. And it's not just about diabetes, it is about health, hormones, weight loss, resistance, and lowering your metabolic age too. Good afternoon, Dr. CJ. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm excited to be able to sit here and speak with you. And I'm excited to be able to have this conversation because one of the things, and we can go in a lot of different directions, but one of the things that I was so interested in speaking about is that I myself, and I know a lot of people put on what they consider the COVID weight. So
Yes.
now people are like, how do we get off this weight? How do we get rid of it? How do we heal ourselves? How do we become healthier? Because a lot of people, including myself, honestly, have kind of just set for the last 2 years.
Yes. So, what we need to do is get back to the basics of eating healthy food and moving our body. That's why I'm so much about it's not about weight loss for me, it's about getting healthy from the inside out so that the natural outcome is weight loss. So
Okay.
most people have been taught that, losing weight or getting healthy is all about, calories in, calories out, and moving your body and exercising. But what I'm about and what I've been doing for the last, 28, 29 years is really focusing on the root cause of why people gain weight, why people have pain in their body, why people get sick. And I've dedicated my life to learning all those causes and learning the quickest, most effective ways to address those causes so that I can create transformations in people that want to have a better life.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's start there. What
Okay.
are those reasons? Go ahead and give it to us.
Okay. So the main causes of dis-ease for almost all chronic illnesses are pretty much the same. We're looking at toxins. So we're living in an environment where we have more chemicals, more toxins than ever before. So one of the four main causes of dis-ease, disease, out of balance, out of ease are toxins. So we're looking at pesticides, plastics, mercury, lead, all these chemicals in our personal care products and the cleaning products in our home. So toxins. The next thing is our food, specifically bad oils like canola oil, vegetable oils, hydrogenated oils. Those are even more damaging than sugar. So diet, toxins, specifically in diet, bad oils, sugars, and grains. That's the diet portion of it. And then the last thing really is stress, and that could be physical stress, emotional stress, chemical stress. I believe that we are mind, body, heart, and spirit. So I'm all about like the four-dimensional um, person of who we are and the 12 core concepts that I've developed to help teach those main four, dimensions of who we are, take into consideration spirit, mind, heart, and body. And then we fill it in with different things. But those are the four main causes: toxins, bad oils, sugar and grain, and stress. Those are the four main causes.
Now, Dr. CJ, you may not know this, but people who watch the show know, and people who have been on the show know, I kind of tend to use this as an opportunity for my own therapy because I need a lot of help, especially in this area, so I can ask questions for myself. One of
Okay.
the things that happened to me is a few years ago, I did the whole keto diet.
Right.
Some people do not like to use the word diet. So the keto health plan, the keto plan, I wound up losing 40 pounds.
Okay.
Afterwards, I wound up gaining 50 pounds back.
Mm.
And now just the thought of any type of diet or any type, even doing keto again, is like, no, I can't even think about it, because for me, it was a complete lifestyle change. And I didn't want to continue that lifestyle. I felt like, okay, now I have to be this keto person until I'm 92. Whereas I just want to eat. I love to eat. Like, food is my passion. So when you hear that, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so what my thoughts are on that is it comes down to life is about balance.
Mhm.
So my program is not a keto program. There are parts of keto, but life is about balance. We are here today. We are alive today. We survived because our ancestors were amazing at feasting and famining. So keto is more of a famine cycle. So what I teach is feast and famine, diet variation. Yes, we want to get you into fat burning during part of the healing process, but we don't want you in ketosis, in fat burning all the time, because if you do just keto, anything that you do long term, you're always going to get results in the beginning. So if you go vegan, you're going to get results in the beginning. If you go, Atkins, all protein, you're going to get results in the beginning. Dr. Sears talked about, the low carbohydrates, all these different diets. You get results in the beginning because you're changing it up and you're allowing the body to respond to this change and get a result. But you always want to start changing things. You don't ever want to just stay in keto or stay in high carb or stay in vegetarian or vegan or paleo or, all these different terms that we see, out there in the world, and especially now since we're so connected. So it's really about balance. However, with a caveat, I will say that most people that come to me for help in the beginning are completely stuck in sugar burning, because the body can only use two things for fuel: fat or sugar. So if you're stuck in sugar burning and you can only use sugar, carbohydrates for fuel, that's what your body's going to crave. So we need to take that craving away and actually get you in fat burning for a while to heal to heal the body, get the weight off. But then once you get the weight off and you heal the body at a cellular level, and we can talk more about that later if you want, then we definitely want diet variation, feast and famine, high carb days, high progesterone building days, hormone building days, some feast days, some famine days. I love water fasting, broth fasting. It's all about variation and balance, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I'm going to ask this question. And typically, I wouldn't ask this question, but what has been your weight journey? Because so often, I don't know if this is true for you, which is why I'm asking, is you have people who say, I used to be 500 pounds. You could have seen me on my 600-pound life, and I knew I had to do something. I actually have a friend who was really overweight, and we lost him a few years ago. But one of the things, he was one of those people where the doctors literally said, if you don't do something about your weight, you're not going to be here. And unfortunately, he isn't here. What aspect really drives you about weight for you?
Okay, thank you for asking. I appreciate the opportunity. So that gives me an opportunity to give you a little bit of background about me and who I am and why I'm even here today, why you hear my voice or see me. Is my entire life I have lived a natural lifestyle. I was introduced to nutrition and no sugar and vitamins as a young child. So I had a lot of seeds planted in me. And so I ended up 28 years ago, I was pre-med at UCI. I was going to become a medical doctor. And I just looked inside and did a lot of soul searching and realized that I just could not see myself learning about drugs and surgery. And I'm not against the Western medical system at all. It's an amazing system for emergency care and critical crisis care. It's not a healthcare system. It isn't. So I wanted to really learn about health and inward healing. And so I ended up going to chiropractic school, graduated 1993, 29 years ago, and 20 years in practice, loved what I was doing, but I went to chiropractic school because of those seeds that were planted in me by my family, my grandparents and my mom, about nutrition and food and how the body can heal itself. If you give the body the good stuff and take away the bad stuff, the body can heal. So I ended up going to chiropractic school because they have that belief that was instilled in me, that the body can heal from the inside out, and that we're going to get to the true cause of things and not just treat symptoms with drugs and surgery. Drugs and surgery are needed. I'm here today. You see me and hear my voice because of Western medical system. I had a burst appendix when I was 18. I would be dead right now if it weren't for the Western medical system. But again, it's for emergency care. So 20 years into practice, you know, adjusting people, doing everything I could for nutrition and health, but people weren't listening to me. They kept coming back into the office, every week. I would work on them and fix them and pour my heart into them, and they'd walk out feeling like $1,000,000. And I would talk to them about diet and nutrition and getting the sugar out of their diet and getting the processed food out of their diet and moving their body and just respecting the natural healing process. And they'd come back in a week and they'd have all the same pain. And so 20 years into this, I was very burnt out, very frustrated with the whole system of things, insurance system, medical bias against chiropractic. And I just got to a point where I felt like nobody was listening to me. And I just wanted to sell my practice and go move to Costa Rica. And that's how I got my name, Puta Vida, Pure Life, and just surf for the rest of my life because people weren't listening. I was using chiropractic as a Band-Aid, a symptom care model, instead of why I became a chiropractor, which was to really help people be healthy and be their best. So I found myself, my own health, suffering. 20 years into it, I was 49, 50 years old, and I was gaining weight, and I was depressed, and I had tons of joint pain. I couldn't play basketball anymore. My life was completely, changed before my very eyes. I looked in the mirror at 49 years old and I'm like, what happened to me? I've always been strong and lean and athletic. And so I just decided I need to do something. I need to look at what I know to be true. I need to reach out and seek other people's help in figuring out what I can do to get my health back. So that was 8 years ago. I developed this system. I used myself as a guinea pig first. I figured out how to get myself into fat burning, how to get all the junk out of my body, how to start losing the weight. But that was just a side effect of the joint pain going away, my mental clarity coming back, the depression going away. I completely transformed my life in 40 days. And I went from being in my late 50s metabolically into my 30s metabolically. That was 8 years ago. I've continued on this journey because it changed my life. It changed my relationships. It cemented in my spiritual journey. That's always been the most important thing for me. And I just had to share this system and this way of life with others. And that's why I developed the PuraVida Transformation System. And now I'm in my 20s metabolically. And I just love what I do. And I want to share how I feel and the joy and excitement that I have in my life with as many people as possible, because I know that if we can fix our body from a physiological aspect and get the cells healthy and get that inflammation out of there, there's a direct connection with how your brain works and your energy level and how you treat your spouse and your children and your coworkers. It's all about, just living your purest life.
I love it. I love it. I think it's wonderful. But I want to go back for a moment to one of the things that you talked about earlier. Let's talk about stress a little
Okay.
bit, especially since we have people who are coming out of the very stressful time frame. But
Yeah.
again, I know how I am. I know for a fact I am an emotional eater. Let something
Mhm.
happen to me, I can know how to get the weight off from a mind perspective. Like I logically know how to get the mind off, the
Yeah.
weight off, but let something happen to me. Let something rock my emotions or my feelings get hurt. I got a giant tub of cookies and cream ice cream, and I really literally don't care. So I mean, I can know how to do it, but how do we get past those emotional triggers and stress, those triggers that make us put on the weight to begin with? Or maybe like you mentioned, the depression, where we're like, you know what, I don't even care. I don't
Yeah.
care if I become 800 pounds. I need something to make me feel better.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because that's a really important aspect of our health and the journey that I take people on with the PuraVida Transformation System. The emotional component is definitely important. So it kind of, what I found in my life, and not that this is going to be the same for everybody here listening or watching, what I found in my life 8 years ago was it wasn't until I got all the junk out of my system, cleansed my body with this system that I've developed with whole healthy food, supporting my body nutritionally, addressing the causes of why I was gaining weight and having the depression, the anxiety, and the joint pain in the first place. Once I addressed those causes and my body started functioning better, I went from a sugar burner that, yes, craves sugar and chocolate and ice cream to more fat adaptive, we call it, more metabolically healthy, more metabolically flexible. So am I perfect now? No. So emotions still come into it. So when you talked about triggers, that's interesting, because the last couple of years I've been involved with it's called Women of Iron, and every day we go through a set of questions on what triggered us that day. And so, does eating well and going through my program, is it going to heal everything? Is it going to fix everything? No. But when you become more fat adaptive, more metabolically flexible, when you have those emotions come up, you don't reach for the ice cream as often, because we teach you how to do parallel shifts and how to make foods and cookies and brownies and desserts that are healthy, that won't make you more depressed, will still take care of that craving and help with that emotional stuff. But again, the emotional triggers are really, they're more separate. And for me, what's happened with me over the last couple of years is every time I get triggered, I've learned to go through these sets of questions, because anytime you get triggered, ultimately it comes down to you're being triggered. It's not about the other person. Like you said, you get your feelings hurt. It's never about the other person. And I know that sounds weird. And a couple of years ago when I first started this process, I'm like, yes, it is. They made me mad. Like, they hurt my feelings. But the trigger is something inside of you that needs to be looked at and healed. And typically, let's just say, for example, somebody, talks sharp at you, has a tone with you and triggers you. Well, the reason it triggered you is because there's something in you that you're doing that's similar. Might not be exactly the same, but maybe you've talked like that to other people. And so now it's triggering you, because any trigger is an opportunity for you to look inside and say, okay, now where am I doing this same thing? Maybe not exactly the same. And maybe I'm not speaking sharp to other people, but maybe I'm speaking sharp or disrespectful to myself in my head. So when someone else talks to me like that, it triggers me because I'm doing that to myself. So for me, it took me about 6 months of doing this daily to stop being triggered emotionally, but it took a long time. And so that's a difficult question, but I understand the emotional component to eating. Food is always there. It's not like an alcoholic where you can just take the alcohol out of the picture. We can't stop eating.
Right. No,
We're always
you
going
can't.
to, we need food to survive.
And I love to eat. I love to eat.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. And I order. I'm not going to cook it. I need Uber Eats or Postmates or
Oh, okay.
DoorDash or somebody to bring it to me. And part of my challenge is I'm one of those people that go, 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 go. So by the end of the day, when I'm ready to eat, I do not want to take the additional time
Mhm.
to cook something. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just want it. I want it now and I want it fast. So of course it's going to be the fast food. It's going to be the greasy meals. One of the things that I truly loved about keto was that I haven't seen any other type of diet plan or weight loss plan that had nearly as many recipes as keto does. You
That's true.
can Google and research a keto recipe and try a new
Mhm.
one every night. And I would try initially when I started, but a few weeks in, I was like, I don't care. I just need some food right now. And now I'm going to, I won't even name the restaurant. So you probably killed me, Dr. CJ. But I'm telling you, they deliver in 10 minutes and it wasn't keto. So how do you maintain, especially with somebody who's always on the go?
Yeah. I mean, I understand I'm busy too. And, sometimes it is easier just to, buy the food out. And I still do, buy some food out. But I don't know. I think it just kind of comes down to, a decision about, how long you want to be here on the planet and the quality of your life while you're here. Because we're all here for a limited time. None of us are escaping death. We're all going to
Right.
be, our spiritual beings live forever, I believe. But the physical body, only lasts for so long. So for me, it comes down to, and it's been a journey. I mean, I've been on this, food, health, nutrition, diet variation journey for a good 8 years. And, there's ups and downs, but as I continue on the journey, and when I do fall off the wagon, and my favorite's Chunky Monkey, Ben and Jerry's. I love Chunky Monkey ice cream. But as I continue on the journey, it's like, if I fall off the wagon and do something like that, and then how I feel, and then my joints start to hurt, I just, it's a learning process. Like, is that what I want for my life? And yes, I'm busy, but really, is it going to take more? Is it going to take any less time to drive to, Stonefire Grill or Chipotle or El Pollo, or, these are some of the things that maybe I would choose that aren't quite as bad, than it is to just open up your refrigerator and have some healthy organic foods. Costco has so many amazing healthy organic foods now, and just pull out some spinach and throw in some ground beef and throw in some spices and some avocado and have some blueberries for dessert. To me, I've realized it takes the same amount of time just to make it at home. And then you just have to ask yourself again, how do I want to be? How do I want to live? I know you have a purpose just as I do. I know that you want to reach out and help as many people as possible as I do. I've been following you for a long time online. So I have just found that in order for me to really live out my purpose, and in order for me to touch the number of people that I want to touch, I have to be at my best mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so it's just choices. And I don't stand here preaching from, a soapbox pretending to be perfect. I think we're humans and it's okay to fall off and just kind of dust yourself off and go, okay, I don't feel so good. Maybe I've gained 5 or 10 pounds. I'm going to get back on. And it's just a journey, right? Life is just about ups and downs, negative experiences, bad food, good food. All in all, in the end, it's about balance. And as long as you're getting good nutrition in, 89% good, healthy nutrition, your body's going to crave less and you can get away with, the In-N-Out burger every once in a while, or going to a party, or, having some red wine. We want to enjoy life, but we also want to look at what is it that we value in life, and is this behavior in alignment with what I value?
So now my red wine is gone too.
No, I have a company that I work with called Dry Farm Wines, and it's keto, sugar-free, organic wines from all over the world.
Okay.
And it doesn't raise your blood sugar. It doesn't take you out of ketosis. You still get to enjoy the effects of the wine, the relaxation, the calming, and the healthy aspect of the wine without the sulfites and raising the blood sugar and having that, hangover the next day. So I love red wine. I have
Okay.
red
So
wine at least once a week.
is there information available on your website?
I don't know. I know we're in the process of adding a lot of products and different things that I recommend on my website. I'm not sure about the dry farm wines. Yeah, dry
Okay. Well,
farm wines. And yeah, you guys can look it up, and I can post a link maybe on my page, because I actually
okay.
have, you can receive some discounts if you go through my affiliate account for the dry farm wines.
Well, I definitely will be signing up for Dry Far Wines.
I love
Teresa
it. Yeah.
posted
Most
the name
exciting
because
delivery.
right, yeah, I need a private delivery straight here because I love that's one of the things I do. I love to just relax with a glass of wine. And
Me
when I
too.
try to let all these things go, it's like, okay, I have this fear. Again, let's go back to my therapy, Dr. CJ.
Okay.
These are the fears that I battle, right? I battle the fear that I'm gonna live to be 100 and something and I can't have anything that I want.
No.
Or the other side of me is like I live to 100 and something, but I'm not in the best shape. You know what I mean? So it's like I
Yeah.
want to be here, I want to be healthy, but I also want to enjoy my life. Sometimes I think those little old people, not that I smoke or I don't drink a lot, but those little old people that have their cigar in their hand and their little drink in their hand and they're like 108, and people,
Right.
what's the secret to long life? And they're like, my cigar. So
Yeah.
it's like, I want to kind of have that energy without the cigar and without your drink.
Yes. So what you have to look at with people like that is, they were born in, maybe 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they were eating fresh, organic farm food for the most part. So I was born in the 60s. Snack industry took over in the 70s. For the first time in our lifetime or on this planet that I know of, our kids will not live as long as us. So, if we're supposed to live like average lifespan, maybe for females, like 87, 88 years old, our children, the average lifespan for a female is going to be less, maybe in the 70s. And it's
Wow.
because of, yeah, that's never happened before. This is the first time ever. And it's
Wow.
because of all the chemicals and the processed food. We have deviated so far away from the natural aspect of our DNA and what our body needs. Our body needs whole, real God foods. So anything that's been processed, anything that's been, filled with hydrogenated oils, if it sits on a shelf and it doesn't expire, and that's how they make the money, that's a dead food. So in my book, I talk about, dead food versus live food. And, those people that have the drink and the cigar that are still alive, they ate a ton of live food most of their life and they can get away with, a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of cigar. We can't get away with that because we've had so much processed dead food into our systems. So now the diseases and the things that you used to see happening in the 40s and when people were in their 40s and 50s, those illnesses are happening now 20s and 30s. Today, as we stand, 1 in 3 women will face a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. 1 in 2 men will face a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. Diabetes, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome is at an all-time high. It's a pandemic. Let's talk about the pandemic. Why do you think so many people have lost their life? Because we are standing on this planet, this day and age, 2022, in a place where more people on this planet are sicker than they've ever been before. And
Wow.
it's because of dead, processed food, corporations that are making tons of money off of us eating their food. So it comes down to really, and I don't want to be like a conspiracy theorist or get into politics at all, but really when you look at it, it's pharmaceutical companies and food companies pretty much own, most politicians, most governmental boards, CDC, all of that. And it's about, especially in the United States, it's about money and profit and corporations. The longer you live and the more drugs you're on and the more dialysis you need, the more money those corporations make, and they answer to their shareholders. And that's how the wheel turns in the United States and most of the world. So people are, look up to Americans. Oh, the great, great Americans, the great United States, the Western way. All these different countries, want to, they watch American TV and McDonald's comes in and Coca-Cola comes in and everybody from these different countries, Brazil and Spain and, Portugal, where does everybody want to go? They want to come to the United States because they want freedom and they want, free enterprise and they want to make money and, strike it rich. But when you look at the world population, when the United States, the Western way of living, seeps into that country, you start seeing diabetes and heart disease and cancer that were not there before the Western way of living came in and sunk its teeth into their natural whole, thousands of years of living off of whole healthy food and unprocessed food. These blue zones across the world where people live the longest. It's not Western way of living. It's living off the land and eating fruits and vegetables and meats and healthy fats and fermented foods and wine. But the Western way is about money, fast and cheap, and profit, unfortunately.
Wow, I almost want to just pack up and leave and go live off the land somewhere. That's how I feel, because it's like when you're in the city right here, what do you do? That's
Yeah. Well, that's why so many foods are available to us here. I'm with you. I feel like that sometimes too. Just want to pack up and go to Costa Rica, live off the land, find like an eco community somewhere. But this is where the people are, and I want to touch as many people as I can. And no matter where you're at, you can still live a healthy lifestyle. You can still have access to healthy food.
Well, thank you, because there's so many people in the chat who are saying you helped them. Tanya Fitzpatrick, I love her. Kisses to Tanya. She's amazing. She says
Aww.
Dr. CJ's program has changed my life as well. Kat Johnson says, thank you, Dr. CJ. This program changed my life. Teresa Robinson, so many people. One of the things that stood out to me is Heather Andrews said she signed up and she's so excited. But she said she hit menopause and is struggling. Now, one of the things that I read in your bio is that it helps with hormones. So what's the effect and how do the hormones and the menopause go hand in hand?
Great question. Thanks, Sharifah.
Ask Sharifah.
So this is when I get to show you my beautiful little cell. This is my favorite part. I teach a lot. That's what I love to do. That's my gift. That's my superpower, is teaching, education. So we have 70 trillion of these in our body. These are our cells. Our body's made up of cells. And see all these beautiful little receptors? Those are hormone receptors.
Okay.
So every cell in our body has 20,000 receptors, insulin receptors, leptin, which tells our body to burn fat for fuel, estrogen, hormones, thyroid, everything that happens in your body happens at the cell membrane, right? And when you are eating processed food and you're metabolically in your 50s to 90s, which is the average that people are when they first come to see me, these membranes, these cells where these receptors are, they're inflamed. The cells are dehydrated. And even if you have estrogen circulating through the blood, these receptors are what we call deadened. It's kind of like a radio antenna. So everything that happens in the body, hormones are chemical messengers that tap to a receptor and tell the cell to make energy or to burn fat or to, have a healthy sex drive or to feel happy. It all happens at the receptor cellular membrane level. And so if you don't get at the cell and decrease that inflammation by getting the junk out of your house, getting the junk out of your body, starting to eat real, live, whole, nutritious foods, those receptors won't heal. But once you start cleansing your body and getting into fat burning, and again, we don't want to stay in keto forever, but we do use it as a tool to get you into a state of fat burning, to start decreasing the inflammation at a cellular level. And over time, those antennas that aren't working anymore because they're like gunked up, they can't hear the signals, those receptors start healing. The hormone receptors start healing. So now they hear the estrogen messages. They hear the progesterone, testosterone, norepinephrine, serotonin, all these amazing chemicals of life that make us happy and sad and tired and wake up and burn fat and hungry. Those are all receptors. It all happens at the cellular level. So I am all about inside out healing, addressing your health from a cellular level, and you won't hear hardly any doctor talk about cellular healing. There's a small group, maybe 500 doctors worldwide. I've been training with Dr. Daniel Pompa, who is the father of cellular healing, and a lot of what I've learned about the cell and inflammation and diet and fat burning has been from him and the group of doctors that I've been training with for the last 15 years. So that's the hormone component, and that's how the hormones get balanced by going through my program.
So, by going through your program and the
Mhm.
hormones getting balanced, is there such a thing as the word I'm looking for is like a point of no return. Now I know, you can't be in a hospice somewhere talking about I want to heal, and change my life. But
Right.
if you get to, maybe a certain age, or maybe you've been diagnosed with diabetes, is there still hope for those people?
Good question.
Oh, I
So,
like that question.
so I believe that, I believe in unlimited possibilities. I believe in the power of good, the power of God. I believe we're all connected. I believe we're here to love. I think that that's the only real thing in our life, in our world, is really loving. And if you are alive, if you are breathing, if you still have the energy of God, spirit, source, whatever your beliefs are, I believe in unlimited possibilities. I don't think anything's impossible. So, yes, let's say you're on dialysis. Let's say maybe, you're late stage terminal illness, you're in hospice. Yeah, I'm sure there are some points of no return, but I have people come to me daily, cancer, post-cancer, lupus, Crohn's disease. The reason that my book is called The Diabetic Weight Loss Solution is I don't want people to think, as you said in the intro, introducing me, yes, the title of the book is Diabetes, because when I started this program 8 years ago and started taking people through this program, I was amazed that within 1 to 2 weeks, for most diabetics, they were off of all of their medication, and maybe the toughest case was 6 weeks. So, yes, your body can heal. Most chronic degenerative illnesses that plague society today are lifestyle, cellular inflammation related. So, if you get at the cause of it and reverse that inflammation and get the body working how it's supposed to again, diabetes reverses. All these illnesses can reverse 100%. So, I wanted to address something that most people think is a permanent problem, diabetes, but just put in there insulin resistance. 88% of Americans are insulin resistant. Doesn't mean they're diabetic. It means that they store fat instead of burn fat, and they're overweight, and they're more prone towards cancer, heart disease, and strokes, the top three killers in the United States. So put in insulin resistance, put in place of diabetes, metabolic syndrome, hormonal imbalance, autoimmune. As we started this conversation, the cause of most disease is the same thing: cellular inflammation due to toxins, bad oils, bad fats, sugar grains, and stress.
Okay. No, Dr. CJ, I just want to make sure I understand, because that's why I ask a lot of questions, because I'm not always clear. But if I heard you correctly, mention a time frame of 2 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
Now, is this just diet? Is this just changing the diet?
It's changing your diet. It's getting into a state of one of my favorite words, autophagy,
Mm.
autophagy. So most people have heard about fasting. Our ancestors fasted. Fasting is healthy, but most people this day and age, because we eat every 2 hours and we've been taught so many wrong things about health and nutrition. Autophagy is self-eating, self-healing, and that's why we talked earlier about the balance of life, feasting and famining. When you're in a state of autophagy, which is what we put people in the first 40 days, we don't keep you there forever. You're eating all these amazing healthy foods, proteins, vegetables, fruits, but a certain amount. And then we're feeding your body nutritionally with whole concentrated foods and herbs based on a 2,800 biomarker test that we ask your body 2,800 questions. What does it need? What toxins need to leave the body? That's probably a whole nother interview. But we use scientifically based testing to ask your body what it needs so we can customize your program. So the first 40 days, you're in this autophagy, fat burning, cleansing, detoxifying state. When you're in that state, even though you're eating and feeding your body nutritionally, we take all oils and fats out temporarily. So see, that's not keto. Keto is high healthy fat. We actually take all oils and fats out temporarily so that your body thinks and acts as if and heals as if it's in a water fast. And if you do any research at all or look up any studies at all, there's nothing more powerful to heal the body, reverse cancer, clean out the gut, reset your gut microbiome, turn on the brain for Alzheimer's patients than fasting. But most people aren't ready for that. So we put you in a fasting mimicking state by taking out oils and fats and being very specific with the macronutrients of what you're eating with protein, carbohydrates, and fats.
I'm about to go sign up right now for this program. But do you have to be in the Orange County area in order to utilize your program? Because I know we have people who are watching today from all over the world and want to change their lives.
Yeah. So good question. Thank you for asking, Sharifah. So interestingly enough, for about 10 years now, I've had a burning desire to take my message worldwide. And I've been wanting to have more of a virtual practice. And that was the silver lining for me with the pandemic was Dr. CJ was finally forced to get out of her comfort zone. And yes, I do have a clinic in Southern California. However, most of our clients now are what we call remote or virtual clients. So I spent the last 2 years creating, with a lot of help from virtual assistants and computer geeks, a completely remote online program where you can log into a website, go through trainings, go through videos. You still have a personalized coach assigned to you that you see via Zoom every single week. So we have people now going through the program. We just had a new client start this morning from Ohio. I've got people in New York, different countries, Canada. So I have prided myself and I have spent a lot of time and a lot of energy creating the program that I had in my clinic for 6 years into a completely online, remote-based program to where you're getting even more support, more education, more resources, more direction and guidance from an online platform, but still with the personal connection. Because you can have all the answers, you can have all the tools, but we are tribal in nature. We need each other. We are connected. You're not going to succeed if you don't lock arms with somebody and get coached by somebody, supported and held accountable. And that's what we do really, really well is we support you and hold you accountable so that we can see where you're at now and we find out where it is that you want to go. And we do everything within our power to help you get to where you want to go.
That's what I need. I always need an accountability partner. I remember when Tanya Fitzpatrick went through the program and then how amazing she looked. And then her husband started working with you and she was walking around literally raving to anyone who would listen. And a lot of people just asked, how did you become, how did you get here? And she talked so much about you. That's one of the things that made you stand out to me, Dr. CJ. I was just so impressed with the transition I saw in Tanya. So I love it. Yes, you are amazing. Now we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it from the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. So we're going to go ahead and give you a few minutes.
Thank you. So I want you to know that your body is an amazing, healing organism that has innate intelligence within it. And I have learned over my lifetime, I'm 59 years old, I'm going to be 60 years old this year, that if you give your body the good stuff and take away the bad stuff, that miracles occur. The problem is there's so much information out there right now. You don't know where to turn or what to do. We've got keto and paleo and this and that. So you can heal. And what I love to do, and my team loves to do, because I have a team of health coaches that support me and work alongside of me, we love to find out what your body needs through scientific objective testing and guide you along the path to give your body the good stuff, because right now you don't know what that good stuff is, and allow the bad stuff to come out and just turn your body into an anti-aging, fat-burning, healing machine, no matter where you're at right now. I don't care what your condition is. I don't care how you feel emotionally. I promise you that there is an answer, that you can change your life. And the start of it comes to a decision. You deciding, right? When people stop smoking or stop drinking, you'll ask people, how did you do it? And then the answer almost always is, I just made a decision I wasn't going to do that anymore. So I just implore you, I'm here to love you and support you and encourage you towards living a pure life, to make that decision to live your best, healthiest life. And for me, it started with my body. Once I got my body clean and figured out my diet and nutrition, got my energy back, then my spiritual life took off, and then my relationships turned around, and my emotional being changed. So body, mind, heart, and spirit, but it starts with body. So if you have a desire to be your best, if you know, and I believe it, you have a purpose, you have a gift to give this world. We all have a purpose. We all have a gift. Maybe your gift is watching your grandchildren grow up. Maybe your gift is taking care of your mom with Alzheimer's so that she has an amazing life up until the end. Maybe your gift is selling stocks. Maybe your gift is shampooing carpet. We all have a gift. And if you want to give that gift and live your most amazing, productive, fulfilled, joyous life, it starts with getting your body healthy first, and the other things follow. So I'm here to support you any way that I can. Reach out to me. I'm available. I talk with people all the time on Facebook. Whether you're a client of mine or not, I'm here to help anybody that needs help and wants the help.
Mm-hmm. And where can they find you online?
So online, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. My website is Dr. DRCJ Puta Vida. So if you see my name here on the screen, so it's just DRCJ Puta Vida, PuraVida, PuraVida.com. So from my website, you can see my podcast channel. You can go to my YouTube channels. I've spent the last couple of years just educating and just, I've just dedicated so much time to, educating and doing videos and just providing as much content and value. Thank you, Teresa. So that's our website, drcjpuravida.com. And you can pretty much find my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, my Spotify. Everything can be found through that website. And if you are listening live today, please log on to the website and get my book. It just launched today. You're going to love it. It's not just for diabetics. I've got tons of client stories in the book, and I teach you about the good stuff and the bad stuff and fasting and feasting. And if you just read the book and follow some of the steps in the book, you can make tremendous, dramatic changes and improvements in your health.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the book came out today, but is that the Kindle version? Because I want a signed copy.
So we're starting with the ebook Kindle version.
Okay.
And we won't have the print book available and the audio version available until later in the year. And I don't have an exact date for that. I'm working right now with some different masterminds that understand how all of that stuff works. But if anything that I said resonates with you, I would ask for your support. You don't have to have a Kindle reader. You can just download the Kindle app. I think the Kindle version is like $5.97. That would really help get us a following, and it would help spread the word. So that what I'm looking for right now is I want 222 people. That's my favorite number, 222, to purchase the book today and read the book. And then I want you to write a review on what the book meant to you and what you learned from it, and how it changed your life. So that's my ask for today. And then I'll keep you posted on when the print book comes out, and we'll have lots more things coming out in the next part of this year with the print copy and signings and different things online and different things in my clinic and things like that.
We'll definitely have to get you to 222 because it is 2222 today. So we definitely want to make that happen. And we have more than
Yes.
people who tuned in today to watch the show. So we'll start with the Kindle version. I'm
Yes.
just one of
Thank
those
you.
people that want that signature sometime because I'll be able to tell people I know Dr. CJ and I have a personal autographed copy of her book. So one day we'll get there. For right now, please tell your friends, share with your friends, and let them know to go ahead and pick up their copy so we can reach the goal of 222. Dr. CJ, I want to thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you sharing. But as always, the most important thing to me is that you support our guest, because our guest was here to share her information, her story, her wealth of knowledge with you. So please support her. Go and pick up a copy of your book today. I want to thank you all for joining us. Until next time, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.